What's up YouTube? My name is Lily. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm gonna use this question in IELTS 16 to show you the correct way to answer a cause and a solution question. I think the most confusing part of this type of question is how many causes and solutions we should write. For the second question, how can people research this? Of course, it's correct whether you write one solution or two solutions. Either way is fine. However, the first question asks, what are the reasons? It uses the plural, reasons. So make sure you write two reasons. However, please don't include both of the two reasons in just one body paragraph. Let me explain why. Now, we are looking at my British Council IELTS account. This is the test results page. I took the test many times. They all expired except this one. As you can see, they actually give you a score explainer that tells you why you got the scores you got. The score explainer says one of the reasons I got a 7 in the writing test is that in task 2, every paragraph has one main topic. This information is very important. If we include the two reasons in just one paragraph, then this paragraph will have two main ideas. Then we won't be able to get a 7 for task response. In order for each paragraph to have only one main topic, we should put the two reasons into different paragraphs. I mean, in body paragraph 1, we only talk about the first reason, and then we talk about the second reason in body paragraph 2, and in body paragraph 3, we give a solution. One solution is enough. If you give two reasons and two solutions, that will be 4 main ideas in total. It's very hard to fully develop all 4 main ideas and at the same time not write too many words. I actually went through all cause and solution questions in Cambridge IELTS books, from Cambridge IELTS 6 to Cambridge IELTS 16, and I found that there is only one question that asks us to write two causes and two solutions, which is this one. There's actually a reason why this question asks us to write more than one cause and more than one solution. Let's look at the question first. In some countries, the average weight of people is increasing and their levels of health and fitness are decreasing. What do you think are the causes of these problems and what measures could be taken to solve them? This question is tricky. Note that it says these problems. What are the causes of these problems? So what are these problems? Problem 1. The average weight of people is increasing. Problem 2, their levels of health are decreasing. Problem 3, their levels of fitness are decreasing. So there are actually 3 problems in question. You need to explain the causes of and the other solutions to all 3 problems. That's why the question uses the plural, causes and solutions. However, the chances of you getting a question that asks you to write 2 causes and 2 solutions, that's 4 main ideas, are low. 4 main ideas are really too many to write. You are more likely to get a combination like this. What are the reasons for this? How can people research this? 2 reasons and 1 solution, that's 3 main ideas. Or, why is this the case? What can be done about this problem? 1 cause and 1 solution, that's 2 main ideas. Of course, you can write 4 main ideas for questions like this, but if you don't have trouble reaching the minimum word count required, definitely go with 2 or 3 main ideas. This way, you can fully develop your ideas. Now, let's go back to this question of researching home history. So why are more and more people becoming interested in finding out about the history of the house they live in? Here are the 2 reasons I came up with. 1, they are curious. They are curious about the building they live in. 2, they want to find a sense of a connection. I mean, they want to feel more connected with their building and the people who have lived there. The solution I came up with is to ask the old people in their neighborhood for help. Now comes a new problem. In the introductory paragraph, do we need to briefly state what the reasons and the solution are? Let's look at these 2 introductory paragraphs. As you can see, their first sentences are the same. In some countries, there is a growing interest among people in tracing the history of their homes. They are both a paraphrase of the question statement. However, the second sentence of the first version simply says, this essay will discuss the main causes of this phenomenon and suggest a possible solution. Is this acceptable? Do we have to briefly state the two causes and the one solution like version 2 does? Now we are looking at my score explainer again. As you can see, I got a 7 because I produced a clear viewpoint throughout the response. That is to say, my opinion was clear throughout the entire essay. My opinion was clear from the very beginning in the introductory paragraph. Does this version show a clear viewpoint of the author? No, not at all. What about this one? Yes, my opinion is crystal clear. I think they researched this perhaps out of interest or to find a sense of connection. I think for help with finding answers, they should turn to the seniors in their neighborhoods. These are my opinions. The two causes and the one solution I came up with are my opinions. So in the introductory paragraph, I first paraphrased the question statement and then gave my opinion by briefly introducing the two causes and the one solution I'm going to talk about in my body paragraphs. And because our opinions need to be clear throughout the entire essay, it's important that we briefly state the two causes and the one solution again in the introductory paragraph. In conclusion, curiosity and the desire to seek a connection are two possible reasons why people investigate the history of their homes. These are the two causes. To find answers, they should ask the old people in their neighborhood for help. This is the solution. So, in the conclusion paragraph, we state our opinions again by stating the two causes and the one solution again. Now, let's finish the 3 body paragraphs. Body paragraph 1 is about the first reason. Topic sentence. Some people delve into the stories of their homes simply because they are curious. To delve means to make a careful or detailed search for information. And then I will develop this topic sentence. Many historical buildings have been torn down, which makes those that remain uncommon treasures in the city. As a result, it's likely that residents in the surviving buildings can't help finding out more about them, such as when they were built and why they look the way they do. This is the entire body paragraph 1. Now let's move on to body paragraph 2, in which I will talk about the second reason why more and more people are becoming interested in finding out about the history of their home. Topic sentence. There are also people who do research to find a sense of a connection. Explanation. With concrete residential buildings everywhere, neighborhoods nowadays look very alike, and therefore it's hard for people to feel something special about where they live. However, by learning about the buildings that once stood there and the people who lived in them, for example, a sense of connection and involvement may be fostered. For example, is modifying the buildings and the people. The buildings and the people are the 2 examples I gave. Now body paragraph 3, the solution. Topic sentence. The best way for people to explore, I believe, is to ask the elderly in their neighborhood. The main issue I see in people's solution paragraph is that they just list 2 solutions, and neither of the solutions is fully developed. They are simply listing points. Please pay attention to how I develop my topic sentence. So why can elderly people help us research the history of our home? This is because many seniors have lived in the same neighborhood all their lives. They have seen it change around them. They have witnessed people coming and going. Talking to them can definitely help one uncover some intriguing stories of the place where one lives. One solution, a fully developed one. This is the entire essay. There are 5 paragraphs in total. By writing 2 causes and just 1 solution, I was able to answer the questions correctly and at the same time fully develop my ideas. What is also important is that each of my body paragraphs only has 1 main topic. That's all for this video. If you guys are interested in learning paraphrasing techniques, definitely check out this video. And if you like my content, make sure you give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Bye!